So what we have here is the second stage of the Bunnings consideration, and this is about rezoning the land. It's just moving the zoning of the land from commercial to residential usage. Councillor Kazmiri was successful in his first motion, and here he is introducing the second motion where he wants to approve these matters without the benefit of the report on the cement bagging factory.
The decision is that so we can come to this point and talk about an alternative resolution or an alternative motion, which is that to rezone the land, to increase the maximum height, to introduce floor space ratio 3.5 to 1, and forward endorsement planning to New South Wales Parliament Council Office for processing finalisation. That is what we have in front of us now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Chair. I'm disappointed to have to speak against this motion, actually, because in different circumstances I might be able to jump up in favour of this development, but I can't, on the grounds that we have ignored the advice of staff in not proceeding with gaining that report to look at the risks and examine the potential land use conflict. While it's encouraging to hear people are so passionate about the housing crisis and childcare at this point, I can't say that this is the best option for both of those things without knowing the outcome of that report. So unfortunately, I do have to speak against the development at all cost motion.
So Councillor Tribe is essentially just restating the arguments from the previous issue. Again, here we have the SIG Council wanting to move forward, ill-informed, we're open for business. Let's not consider facts, let's just get this moving.
Councillor Boyd.
I just have a question. If I assume, I'm not sure how to put it. So will these heights apply across the whole of Shoalhaven? They'll apply, or is it just to apply to this particular development?
Mr. CEO.
Thank you.
In order to save time, I won't give the full response from the acting CEO. But in essence, there's suggestions about how they can be more precise in the motion. This is a typical example, and I've got no idea why those putting motions forward don't talk with staff prior to putting them in, because so much time is wasted when these motions are haphazard. And Kazmiri is probably one of the worst for doing this. So in essence, they deal with this late.
Would it be a little unfair to just have Ulladulla exposed to these heights? Couldn't we? Why wouldn't we want to have them why wouldn't the argument be to have them throughout the city? If they're so important in Ulladulla to produce housing, why isn't it important for the whole of the city to have these heights?
The acting CEO thought that this question was rhetorical. He really couldn't answer it. It's a fairly good point from Councillor Boyd that why is it that it's okay for Ulladulla to have these extra heights? Why wouldn't this be made in a wider policy setting across the whole of the city? Very valid, but again, this just highlights the SIG approach of ad hocery.
And Mr. CEO, Councillor Crixtolitis.
I just wanted to stand and say thank you to Ms Sophie Quinn for her wonderful words that we're now about to vote on.
I think Ben is clearly frustrated yet again by this ad hocery by SIG. What he's saying is that the words that are in the motion are exactly the words that came from the proponent. So this is, in essence, what he's suggesting is that the developer is writing the motions for Councillor Kazmiri to put forward.
Thanks, Deputy Mayor Wilkins. Question through you. I think it's going somewhere. I'll just put the question. Will this guarantee housing? Is there a better zoning that could be put here to help?
Well, that could be considered another rhetorical question, but we'll put that to Councillor, CEO. CEO.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Look, councillors,
The acting CEO explained that there's two issues. One is the rezoning and then one's the DA. So if they change the rezoning, it doesn't necessarily mean that this particular DA will come forward and will be built. It could be that somebody else will get the land and may want to build a church with a 21-metre spire. So he's trying to break the nexus between the rezoning and the development. But SIG seems incapable of understanding that. They think it's all about building these units as opposed to rezoning the land.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. I've just received some advice from my colleagues to my right, and I appreciate it. When I read the motion, I read this motion as referring to directly 131 St Vincent Street, Ulladulla. And I was concerned that the affordable housing wasn't written in, but now it is. So I still need greater assurance that this is for that site. It's a planning proposal for that site. It doesn't necessarily mean that that will be adopted across the city, as some people seem to think it will. Our CEO, acting CEO, said that it did have a degree of ambiguity, so we need to rule out the ambiguity and to make sure we're talking about one planning proposal that's been given a gateway at this stage. That essentially is my fairly long-winded question. Can we rule that ambiguity out?
Mr. Clark came in here and explained that in the proposal already, there's 4 quadrants in the approval to rezone the land, and that means that no matter what goes on there, they have to meet those height limits in those particular zones. So we get Bob here getting to roll out one of his favourite sayings, that gives me great comfort. Bob gets an opportunity to ask questions and get his face up.
Councillor Proudfoot.
Well, can we incorporate the as exhibited into the motion? And where would be the most appropriate place to insert that now, through you to the CEO?
Through you, Chair, it is referenced in the first part of the motion. So 131 St Vincent Street, Ulladulla, as exhibited to amend the LEP as follows, etc., etc.
Sorry, just a question, because obviously you're restricting it to numbers, and it would appear just looking at that, it's almost like thirds. So would you not do better putting it in as a minimum percentage of like 25, 30%, as opposed to a specific number? Because obviously you don't know exactly how this is going to land.
Clark?
Reduces the ambiguity, I think, of people wondering if that will really happen. That's all. Thank you.
So we'll take that slight amendment to the motion, and Councillor Cox.
I would just say then probably take a recommendation if that's okay. But I think what we're trying to achieve here, and obviously the ladies gave a good deputation, and it's a case of we'll take them at their word that there's going to be affordable housing built into this. It's just a case of we obviously just want to tighten it up for obvious reasons.
Through you, Chair.
So again, you have the acting CEO and Mr. Clark trying to help the councillors come up with numbers, percentages and whatever else. So again, it's starting, I think, to dawn here on the chair, Councillor Wilkins, that this is getting out of hand and maybe they should go to a briefing. But that still takes some time.
No, I think based on the numbers, sorry, just to bounce that back off you, Chair, would be that it seemed to me like it was thirds. So I think we should be looking at 25 or 30%. In this, if we're talking about a specific site, we're not, that's it. I'm just saying. So you're saying it's open to us. I would say we're looking for affordable housing. It's part of this proposal. So let's ask for pretty much what they were offering in the first place. Thank you.
Well, that's it's up to Councillor Kazmiri.
So yet again, the staff have to intervene and respond to some questions here about numbers, percentages, whatever. And the bottom line is we still don't know what's going to be built on the site, so trying to get this locked in at the rezoning phase may be of some help, but they need to be better prepared.
Thank you. Look, because we were promised Thank you, Mr. Chair. Because we were promised the 50 affordable housing, would Mr. Clark and Councillor Kazmiri accept a minor alteration of 50 affordable housing within that number 2 there? A minimum of, or 50 or more? Just so that would be the promise. It was already promised on the floor as stated by the deputy, so would Mr. Clark and a minimum of 50?
Mr. Clark?
So here the CEO warns council that if they continue to put these numbers and percentages, it's going to have a knock-on effect in the DA, in that the more cheap accommodation they need to provide, they get paid back in floor space and height. So if they lock in percentages and numbers, it could possibly be that it's a much bigger building.
That'd be fine.
Something.
Thank you.
50, so if we can put that wording in there, we'll then get approval, 50 houses or an equivalent percentage. Because I think if we're dealing in, 20 or 25, it's highly speculative.
And 50 and 10.
Mr. Chair, I must make council aware so that you're well appraised of the decision that you are potentially about to make, that the delivery of a percentage above 10% will trigger additional bonuses, including height and floor space under the housing set.
Should we normally go to 20% or 25%?
I'm not sure if that can be in any way debated at a later stage by any state government ruling. I know that recently one has been approved on a 10% and others 15%. So I'm happy to leave it at 15% as is, and then we move on. Thank you.
Perhaps we could say we go back to 50 or an equivalent percentage if we write that in. Would that be possible?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. An alternative idea may help solve those problems that our CEO just stated. Is it an option to put in that with 182 proposed units, 50 have been stated as affordable housing, 10 for sale, and on the figures we base those upon, we're resolving that 50% be affordable housing. Base it on the figures that the deputy has promised.
Based on the discussion around the table and the ambiguity, I'm going to suggest that we take this notice of motion to a briefing. We've gone from 50 to 15% to 20% to 25%. Now we want to factor in another 10. Would we be of a mind to take this to a briefing in the very near future to clear it up and see if we can come up with a decision there, or are we happy with going with number 2 as it stands? Councillor Kazmiri, I'll put the ball back in your court as the proposer of the motion.
Yes, fine as is. Thank you.
So you'd like to stay as it is without going to a briefing?
Yes. Yes.
So what can you say about Councillor Kazmiri? He's sitting here watching everybody confused all over the place. You wonder what it is that he has to have it resolved at this meeting. Is he pleasing the developers? And if so, why? And been locked in for something? Who knows? All supposition, but it's very strange.
No, I think that's right, yes. So what we're going to do before we head to the foreshadowed motion is we're going to vote for what's on screen. So obviously those people those councillors who feel that this should go to a briefing can vote against this particular amendment, and if we'd like to go to a briefing, that will come up as a foreshadowed motion in just a sec. So we'll vote. So we have a count of 7-4 in favour of the motion with the amendment. presented by Mr Clark and Mr Kazmiri. And 4, we have Councillor Clancy, Councillor Kemp, Councillor Kazmiri, Councillor Cox, Councillor Proudfoot, Councillor Boyd and Councillor Wilkins. And against, we have Councillor Tribe, Councillor Norris. Councillor Boyd's changed the vote. Councillor Boyd, Councillor Johnston and Councillor Christolitis. So it is 6-5. That is carried